I lived in my car for 6 months. What I learned about the American dream. My name's Jake. I'm 32, and last year I accidentally became one of those living in your car YouTube clickbait thumbnails. You know the ones. Some guy brushing his teeth in a Walmart parking lot with a sad emoji and the words, "Is this America?" plastered over his face. Except this wasn't for content. This was my real life. Here's how I went from a pretty normal dude with a 9 to 5 to someone who knew the exact closing time of every Planet Fitness in a 30-mile radius. Chapter 1: The American Dream Plot Twist. Up until last year, I did what they told me: go to college, rack up student loans the size of a small country's GDP, get a degree, land a stable job. Check, 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 and check. I wasn't balling out. I worked as an IT support guy making $48,000 a year in Phoenix. I had a one-bedroom apartment, a car loan, and some savings that could cover maybe 2 Chipotle bowls. Then the rent notice came. My landlord apparently discovered gold in the backyard because my rent jumped from $1,100 to $1,750 overnight. That's a 59% increase. No warning, no mercy. The guy shrugged and said, "Market rate, bro." I did the math. After rent, student loans, and car payments, I'd have about $73 left for food and electricity. So unless I wanted to live off ketchup packets, I needed a plan B. Spoiler, plan B was my 2013 Honda Civic. Chapter 2: Homeless but make it aesthetic? The first night sleeping in my car felt like camping, except instead of s'mores I had anxiety, and instead of a campfire I had a parking lot floodlight blinding me through the window. I parked at Walmart because the internet said, "Walmart never kicks you out." Lies. At 2 a.m., security knocked on my window. I panicked and said I was just resting my eyes. He looked at me, looked at the half-eaten Taco Bell on my lap, and said, "Not here, man." Next stop, Planet Fitness parking lot. I bought the cheapest gym membership ever and suddenly had access to 24/7 showers. Let me tell you, if you ever feel down about your life, watch a grown man blow dry his underwear in a public locker room. That was me. Chapter 3: Rock bottom has free Wi-Fi. I thought being homeless meant you hit rock bottom emotionally. Nah, rock bottom was my first date while living in my car. I matched with this girl on Tinder. We grabbed coffee, had a great conversation. She asked where I lived, and my brain short-circuited. Do I lie? Do I say the Honda Hotel? I panicked and said I just moved and was between apartments. Technically true. The problem was she wanted to see my place. Yeah, that date ended real quick.
Another low point. I applied for food stamps. The lady at the office asked for my address. I said, "Do parking lots count?" She didn't laugh. Chapter 4: The hustle era begins. After a month of existential crisis, I realized living in my car wasn't going to magically end. I needed to hustle. I signed up for DoorDash and Uber Eats. My Civic became both my home and my office. I started delivering food for 10 hours a day, charging my phone at Starbucks, and sleeping wherever I could safely park. Was it humiliating? Sometimes. Was it character building? Also, yes. Did it smell like old fries? Absolutely. Funny enough, the tips were better when I looked like I was suffering. Maybe my vibe screamed, "Support this man before he starves." I also started a TikTok documenting car life. It was supposed to be a joke, but people loved it. Suddenly, I had 50,000 followers asking me for car living hacks. Hack number 1: baby wipes. Don't ask questions, just buy them. Chapter 5: People will surprise you. Here's where the story gets unexpectedly wholesome. I was delivering to this one house, big suburban mansion, 2 Labradors in the yard, classic white picket fence energy. A middle-aged lady answers the door, sees me sweating in the Arizona sun, and says, "Are you okay?" I don't know what happened, but I word vomited my whole situation. Car life, rent hikes, Planet Fitness showers. Instead of judging me, she tips me $100 and says, "We've all been there. You'll get through it." Later, one of my TikToks went viral. The one where I turned my Civic into a studio apartment using LED lights and a dollar store curtain. People started Venmoing me small donations with messages like, "Hang in there, man." Turns out, the internet isn't always toxic. Sometimes strangers will help when you least expect it. Chapter 6: The Comeback. After 6 months of living like a raccoon with Wi-Fi, I finally saved enough for a deposit on a studio apartment. No granite countertops, no balcony view, but it had walls and an actual bathroom. I nearly cried the first night in an actual bed. Now, a year later, my life's not perfect, but stable. I still deliver food part-time while working IT. I still make TikToks about the absurdity of American housing. And here's the wild part. Those car living TikToks, they blew up so much that I now make extra income from brand deals. Companies are literally paying me to talk about how broke I was. Capitalism is weird. Chapter 7: What I learned about the American dream. If you told me years ago that I'd live in my car because my rent skyrocketed, I'd have laughed. That's supposed to happen to other people. But the truth is, housing insecurity is becoming terrifyingly normal. The American dream feels broken sometimes. People are working full-time and still living paycheck to paycheck. I was one of them. But I also learned that resilience, humor, and community can pull you through the darkest moments. Do I wish I never had to experience car life? Absolutely. But it taught me humility. It showed me how strong I could be when my back was against the wall or the Civic door. Ending hook for the audience. I tell this story because I want people to know they're not alone. If you're struggling with rent, debt, whatever, there's hope. It sucks, it's unfair, but you can crawl out of it. And if you see someone living in their car, don't judge them. They might just need a shower, a smile, or a $100 tip that'll make them cry in a Planet Fitness parking lot. And hey, if my story made you laugh, cry, or question the housing system in America, hit subscribe, because apparently my pain makes great content.